Welcome to the Curios Cast, episode 53, a spooky special. Happy Halloween.
Don't know what the fuck I'm playing there.
Anyone who's not watching on YouTube and is listening, this is one of the episodes where you should really just pop over to our YouTube just to see what we look like. We've all got costumes on. I am El Lobison. Anyone who listened to last year's Halloween special, it's the Argentinian werewolf. So I bought a werewolf mask for like £7 from Amazon, and then I wanted to buy an Argentina shirt to make it clear that I was El Lobison and not just a random werewolf. You know, I'm not Teen Wolf here. I'm not just any old werewolf. I am El Lobison.
Very nice.
Finding any Argentina shirt in the southeast of England is harder than you'd think. Unless you want to pay 60 quid for like the current, modern Argentina football shirt, I had to go on Facebook Marketplace. I was looking like there's nowhere that sells them apart from just people selling them secondhand. So I managed to find this one. I had to drive to Where to get it.
Really? That's ironic.
Yeah. Where? Yeah, where?
But like, 'cause it was for a werewolf.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, and it wasn't that much of an ordeal. But you know when like Facebook Marketplace, it can be so sketchy. And we drove there, and I messaged the person because they gave me the postcode. I'm like, cool, I'm outside. Where are you? Or what door number is it? And I just don't get a reply. We're sitting in the car for like 10 minutes just waiting for someone to reply. And eventually it worked out fine. But picked up this Argentina shirt. Rob, you are what are you?
Well, you see, I wanted to come as the wizard from Zaranzu.
Okay.
Which I've sent you guys a picture. You can maybe put it up on the screen, Tom.
Yeah.
Of me at university dressed as the wizard from Zaranzu, right?
That's just your normal dress, isn't it?
Yeah. Right. Well, basically, we had a fancy dress thing at uni, and me and my mates obviously were only prepared to make a low effort, and left it to the last minute. So we went down. There was like a charity shop actually on campus, which was sick, but they had all kinds of weird shit in there because they obviously thought like stuff you can't put in the normal charity shop, just give it to the fucking students. They'll probably buy it, which we did regularly. But so we decided just to go to the charity shop and just buy any random assortment of crap. And just like make up that we were like from an anime. We're just gonna say we're from this anime called Zaranzu.
Okay.
And I was the wizard. I don't know what. That's my friend James there. I think he said he was like the Riddler or something, or like the Riddler from Zaranzu.
So is that
quite
not
good,
even a real? Have you made up that name?
Yeah, 100% made that up. Yeah, okay. Zaranzu. Yeah. So today I'm the band leader from Zaranzu. There you go.
Okay.
And I was the wizard. So obviously that's a lampshade on my head. Some glasses I found. I was really looking for those glasses, and I was going to say I'm a different version of the wizard from Zaranzu.
Reincarnated.
Evolved in like a later season. He looks like this now.
Yeah, like Gandalf the White.
Yeah, exactly. And those trousers were quite comfortable. And I had like a little bag, like a satchel that I like had like little gifts that I like handed out to people, and I cast them with like spells, and I wrote like some notes in it. And then we made my friend. Our friend Braithwaite from uni, he had a dress on, much like you, and we said he was Beth from Zaranzu. We were like the wizard, and like the Riddler. I can't remember what Josh was. Josh was dressed as something. Basie Josh was there.
Did you have like a voice for the wizard?
Probably. I remember walking around, I was like, who wants a spell? And then there was Beth, and we were like, oh, this is Beth. And we were like, I wonder if like, because we're just legit, we won't own up that it's not a real thing until like someone really calls us out, and like we would just be like, we're 100% Zaranzu, and we're like, I wonder if anyone's fucking shit enough to be like, I like anime, like I fucking know that, and pretend they know it, because we will be 100% and it did, they fucking did. We got there and like someone was like, we're chatting and we said we're telling these people who were, and they were like, never heard of it, and we were like, yeah, like just some anime in it, because it wasn't, especially at uni, it wasn't like, it's fairly like common to like anime now, isn't it? But like then it wasn't so much. But there was like one girl who was like, they were like, oh, our friend, what's her name who's here likes anime, and like you're gonna grab her, and she was like, oh yeah, I've heard of it, yeah. Like, no, you fucking haven't. And I can't remember when we ever told like the rest of them that like their mates were like, yeah, your friend was full of shit.
Well, that's me and Rob. George, you are the most horrifying out of the three of us, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of making minimal effort and leaving things to the last minute, I've come as Lynn, my girlfriend, because I couldn't really find Halloween. There's no Halloween shops. There's no like fancy dress shops that I can find within like a 5-minute distance of my house, because I couldn't be bothered to go any further. So my outfit is Lynn. This is a Oranje hat. This is the Dutch national team football hat. Wearing Lynn's dress, and I've got some lovely makeup on. Excellent. And before you say this is a Halloween outfit, because I'm scared of Lynn, so this is technically a very scary outfit.
I don't think Halloween has to be scary either. Like I heard someone say about something yesterday, like in America, it's not scary shit, is it? They just dress up.
Yeah. I think.
I mean, it makes more sense
to
the scary stuff
that
really.
way.
Where it's a bit of an American.
It's meant to be. I remember as a kid, it was always dressing up as something scary, and then now it's just a fancy dress day, isn't it?
That's because we're fucking Americans.
Yeah.
Have you seen the old photos of Halloween costumes from like the
70s
and
earlier.
like the 1800s and stuff?
Yeah.
And they made like big paper mache heads, but they're like terrifying.
Some of them are horrifying as well. Yeah. I think it's just because the cameras were so shit as well, that it makes it look even spookier. Everyone just looks so genuinely like dead.
Yeah. Why is it called fancy dress when it's not necessarily fancy?
Oh.
I don't know.
Don't know.
Are you going to tell us the answer, or is that just...
I was going to say, what is the etymology of the word fancy? Like, does it come from like fantastical or something? And
maybe like
phantasmagoria. Or
to be fair, George, I think out of the three of us, you can probably pull off the dress and makeup look the best.
Yeah,
I'm not pulling it off. Staying on.
It doesn't. It doesn't really feel that out of the ordinary.
It is chafing my nips.
Get the nips out.
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's beyond the Patreon wall. Like Rob, what are you doing, wanking or something? I can't remember.
Speaking of which, right?
Speaking of wanking?
No, nips and that.
Oh, yeah.
2 episodes ago, we spoke about Naked Attraction, and I made the thumbnail on YouTube. It was my face all shocked, and then it was like a screenshot from Naked Attraction. It was all the people standing naked in their booths. And, I showed you guys the thumbnail, and basically it was just a little bit, like the nipples and the genitals were censored with little black bars, and uploaded it, and maybe about an hour after uploading, an email came through from YouTube saying, your thumbnail has been removed due to breaking the guidelines or whatever. And I thought, okay, fair enough. It was like the little censor bars were very small. Like you could see the rest of their body in great detail, but everything that would have been non-PG was censored. And I just redone the thumbnail, like made it so their whole body was pixelated and the bars were bigger and censored. And as George pointed out, I spelt censored wrong. But I wanted to see maybe what other thumbnails were out there when you type in anything to do with nudity and whatever. So I urge you all, listeners, and you two as well, open like a private browser or something.
Steady.
This mask's making me have like a bit of a lisp. But just go onto YouTube, and then if you just, it might not work on a private browser because you won't be logged in, and it knows you're not you're not confirmed as 18. But if you type in naked yoga, there are videos, and everything's like, okay, everything's kind of
facing the other way.
There are videos of people just butt naked. Well, it's always women, butt naked, doing yoga, like stretching their legs as wide as they can get them. Everything's out on display.
This is only for education.
Like,
so
yeah,
What?
And I thought, like, okay, fair enough if the video has some nude content in it, but you know, the thumbnail doesn't, because you don't want kids to like scroll across it. If you type in, I'm on desktop here, I type in naked yoga, the fourth one down is literally just a picture of a vagina. Like, it's just there. Like,
there's a woman on a hay bale as well.
Yeah, like, and these thumbnails aren't getting taken down. I don't know what's going on.
It's weird.
Like, people are just fucking getting their rat out on YouTube, and like, there's videos you can see if you type in like how to shave a vagina or something. There's videos that is like how to shave a vagina, and it is. To be fair, there's nothing really in the thumbnail here that you can see, but there are videos just literally. This one's got like 14 million views, and it is just someone. It's just a full-on vagina.
There's one here that I found. It's funny. It says like hot yoga and contortion flexibility, and it's like, and someone's just commented, these days I don't question the YouTube algorithm, I just accept that it knows me better than I know myself, and that it may not give me what I want, but it will give me what I need. It's basically just like two women stretching each other.
So I'm hoping that doesn't ruin my like algorithm now, and I'm just going to get suggested all that, because I was looking it up just to see. I was searching it, to be fair, but
there's another one called Naked Bakers, where it's what it sounds like. It's just women baking,
like the Great British Nake Off.
Nice.
But I think that one's like it's a way to like tease people into like OnlyFans or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. My friend's in a band, like the guy used to be in my band, in his new band, they played a nudist fucking camp. Yeah, it was like a nudist like party, and they went. They didn't have to be naked, but they didn't get naked. No. But they just played it, and everyone there was naked, and it was like a private like place that these people like own, and there was loads of naked people there.
Mosh pits must be mental.
Well, we got asked a quote for a naked gig once, but we had to be naked. So we had to quote for like. I was up for it. I was well up for it. And the other band weren't so much. But like, they were like, well, we'll quote the naked price. You know, I was like, yeah, well, let's quote the naked price. I think like we quoted some silly amount of money. And I was like, if they're up for it, we'll have to fucking do it. I'm not sure anyone did it, but it was kind of creepy. It was like, you have to be naked. And it's in like some private members club in like
everyone
London
else
somewhere.
wasn't naked.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah.
All right, let's get on to some spooky topics. Any of you fancy going first? Or
I'll go first, because mine features nakedness.
Oh.
Well, spooky. Maybe. I don't know. Yes. Like, it's the sort of thing, like, I know we haven't spoken about this exact thing before, but it's the sort of thing we've probably fucking spoken about before. Like, it's pretty classic. Quite a horrible feeling. I'll stop recording then. No, I haven't. I'm just going to mute my organs so I don't accidentally make spooky sounds again.
Speaking of being naked, stop fiddling with your organ.
Right. Where are we? Safari, please. So, mine is I got two things. One led me on to the other, right? My first is my friend thinks she's having sex with a ghost, and it's kind of like an agony aunt thing. And it's fairly brief. It's like, I'm worried my friend actually believes she's been having sex with a ghost in quarantine. We went to college together but have lived on opposite coasts for close to a decade. I'm quarantining with my partner. She's quarantining alone. Both our cities have been locked down since March. We've always been close, but we've talked especially frequently during this time because she lives far away from family and doesn't have a lot of close friends because of a punishing work schedule. In a conversation in April or May, she mentioned to me that she'd been masturbating while thinking of a man who lived in her apartment in the 1920s.
What?
I mean, that's far
niche.
Start,
that's pretty niche.
That is niche, isn't it? That is niche.
Yeah.
Like a specific man, or she just invented this?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know whether it really was legitimately a man that lived in there in the 1920s, and she's got like a picture of him, which is, I don't know what's weirder. Is it weirder entirely making up the idea of a man that lived in your apartment in the 1920s, or is it weirder if you know there was this guy called like John? His name is John. and you have a picture of him maybe, and you.
I'm fine if in 100 years' time there's some chick on this bed right here, just flicking her bean, thinking about that Curios guy used to sit right there,
dressed as El Lobison.
Used to sit right there eating fried
That's
chicken.
That's fine by me. If I die, I don't mind. Even if it's a guy, you can wank over me.
Yeah,
actually,
whatever, cool.
even if I'm alive, feel free.
Yeah, crack on. I assumed she meant it as a fantasy, and we had a good laugh. I like we had a good laugh. I had a good old crack up at that. Good one, Jean. But in subsequent conversations, she named the man John, and she's begun referring to him when I mentioned things my partner is doing, like her stories are complimentary. John said this. John said this. John is having a bad day. As her city slowly ends lockdown, she mentioned possibly seeing an old sex partner again, but she's worried John might get jealous. She mentioned John on social media without explanation, and a mutual friend asked me if she was dating someone. We talked over the phone, so it's hard to read her expression when she mentions John, but at this point I know about as much as him as I would about a real man she's dating. I can't tell if this is harmless or I should have more direct conversation with her about it. What do you think?
Is there a reply?
There is a reply. It's about as shit as you think it's going to be. He basically said, if someone told me they were banging a ghost, I'm sure I would ask, without any ability to curb the scepticism in my tone or expression, are you serious? You are a little more tactful than I am, but I still think you should ask of your friend if she's serious. She's either fully aware how ridiculous it is or not at all. And the latter case would be cause for concern, probably.
Probably.
I say probably because for as long as I've had an opinion on the matter, I've felt that things that cannot be proven by a scientific method must not exist. Which is to say, if ghosts were real, we'd have proof of it by now. But then just this week, I started reading something about how to change your mind, blah, blah, blah. Potentially, it goes on to talk about psychedelics for some reason. He's like, I'm not saying she's actually been visited by a ghost, but she might be, is what he says. So there you go.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've had a few women married and ghosts, and we've not had any men marrying ghosts.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah, it's true. Which is surprising. You think there'd be men fucking ghosts all the time, like.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the men marrying sex dolls and other stuff. Anything they can physically put a dick in, they'll marry.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because ghost is they'll just happily just wank.
I feel like we've had a lot of like just when you see those stories about this person married an inanimate object or this person's in love with a briefcase or whatever, it does tend to be a female. Although,
is that just because it's a more like clickbaity story if it's a female? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know, because I was actually looking up the other day. I just googled people who have married things, and I was looking. There's like a woman who's married some trees. Someone married a road, I think, like a street. But I did find a man. He's a Japanese man, and he's married a virtual character. It's like a hologram, and it's like in this capsule. Imagine like in Futurama, you know, where they have all the heads, like Nixon's heads in like a jar. It's like that kind of shape. And it's got like a hologram of this anime character. And he married that. He married the actual character. And then he has since had like full life-size dolls made of this character as well that he can have in his house.
Can he put his dick in any of them?
Well, so I wanted to...
Because that'd explain it.
I messaged him on Instagram. I managed to find him on Instagram. And I messaged him. And obviously I don't know any Japanese. But I sent him the message in English. And he replied in Japanese. And so I copied and pasted that into Translate. And he basically said, I don't speak English, but I translated your message. And he's like well up for having a chat. For us to use on the podcast. So I replied back in English saying, like, he said, it'll have to be at the end of November is when he's available. So
there you go. Something to look forward to.
Stay tuned for like December time. We should have an interview with this Japanese man.
So you're learning Japanese now?
No,
Crash course.
I'm putting a public service announcement out there. All points bulletin. If anyone knows Japanese fluently, because I messaged a friend who lived in Japan for a while, said, do you know anyone who speaks fluently both Japanese and English?
I know someone, a listener of the podcast, that speaks pretty good Japanese.
Okay, if they speak Japanese well enough that they think they'll be able to sit on like a Zoom call with me and this Japanese man, and I ask question, goes through. Obviously it's quite time consuming, I guess.
Well, shout out Tokyo Joe if you're listening.
Tokyo Joe.
Yeah.
Tokyo Joe, one key requirement of this role, is you need to be able to ask, can you put your dick in it?
Yeah.
I reckon he probably already knows that.
And and then what I would like to do is have an interview with this guy and then just basically use Tokyo Joe's voice like over the top. When you see in documentaries and films where someone's speaking another language and they just dub the English like translator over the top. So that would be ideal.
Okay.
Well, stay tuned, listeners.
I'll reach out.
But that's the only man I could find that married something.
Oh, that's good. But like this, just quickly while we're on this article, like I scrolled down a bit because it's like an agony aunt thing, and the next one I just had to read out because it's classic Curios. Not that one wasn't. This is it, right? I'm a 26-year-old straight male with what seems to me is a silly problem, but a problem nonetheless. I have an average-sized penis, but I tend to ejaculate copious amounts of semen, spurt after spurt after spurt, usually at least 9 to 10. I have always ejaculated this much, but didn't realise it was different until sex with my first partner, who was more experienced than I was. The first one, we were together, and I came on her stomach. She laughed and said, "Holy hell!" She said, "I came like a porno guy," and explained what she meant. I thought it was amusing at the time, and my experiences and my partner reactions were pretty similar from that point forward. Fast forward to the present, and I believe I found the love of my life. Basically, he just goes on to say that like they're a bit concerned that this like causes a mess all the time. And
he must have a lot of zinc, a lot of vitamin E, a lot of sunflower lecithin.
Okay,
you've looked into it. Oh, is this all from that man who wanked a lot? Is he like
selenium?
Kept the journal?
What man that wanked a lot?
Kept the journal, the wank journal.
That guy, the Reddit guy. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was genuinely getting confused with the sneeze man, like thinking that he was wanking.
No.
No, it was from somewhere. It's from a different podcast. Shout out to PKA podcast, another podcast that needs all of our traffic going to them. They actually made a supplement that makes you come more. And I haven't.
Has it been verified by independent ejaculators?
I think so. Yeah,
Nice.
It's pretty new, so I think it's like it's only just hit the market. But
is there a way of? Is there like a scam where it says like, you take this pill and then you just wait without wanking for 10 to 15 days?
No.
And then
I think like all those ingredients, you can just obviously you can just get them separately and test it yourself.
All right, we'll give it a go.
Give it a go here. Tune in next week.
Patreon.
There you go.
Who can produce the most in a week?
I think we spoke about this before. I'm pretty sure. Like I've said to my friends, I feel like I've got high traffic. But I've yet to really prove that because
you said you and your friend had a debate as to whether you could fill up a shot glass.
Yeah, see, this lad clearly could. So it is a thing.
I feel like, I believe in you because I feel like I could at least get close if like you'd prepared.
Yeah.
If you prepared.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Like if you just
just had one.
Yeah, if you just had one, even if it was like earlier even if it was that morning or maybe even the night before, like sometimes it's just not as impressive. But if you'd gone a couple of days at least,
don't want to be dehydrated.
No.
Well, exactly. But this leads me on to my next one. This is just as brief. But yeah, it's about the same thing. It led me on to when I was looking around, right? So, I'm a widow and I live with my teenage daughter in a mobile home in a trailer park. My home is less than 20 years old, but it's definitely haunted. Makes sense. We have two types of ghosts. One is human and the other is an animal. They seem to travel together, so when one isn't around, neither is the other. This is from yourghoststories.com, by the way. Over the last 6 years, we've had several experiences with our ghosts, from soda cans flying across the room, fans being knocked off a television twice, hearing typing on keyboards, but there's no one on when I check, hearing a laugh track from old sitcoms from the 60s and the TV isn't on, thumping in the back room, things walking on the bed and resting at our feet, and so on. My daughter's friends had all heard / felt the ghost cat, and a few experienced the human. We all accept that ghosts exist and welcome them. I've had ghost encounters in nearly every home I've lived in, so I think they realise we're safe and can be trusted.
There's a common denominator there, isn't there?
There is a common denominator there. I do think that is, yes. We watched a show on Discovery, or a channel like it, about women who have had sexual encounters with ghosts.
Brilliant.
That night when I went to bed, I commented out loud that I wouldn't be opposed to having a ghostly visitor have sex with me.
Well, if there's any ghosts in here, I wouldn't mind getting all flustered with you tonight.
She only lives with her son, so was she saying that to her son as well? Like, she said, I'm a widow who lives with my teenage son.
No, daughter, isn't it?
Daughter.
Teenage
daughter. Yeah, daughter.
Okay,
yeah. Shout
I guess
it out
a bit less weird. But even
there's
then,
a
like saying
ghost
to
in
your
here.
son or daughter, be like, "Oh, I wouldn't mind if I got, shagged by a ghost."
I'm going to bed now. I hope I don't get savaged by a ghost in my bedroom tonight.
That's what she said. And then I masturbated and fell asleep, much like I did every night. Later that night, I half woke up and discovered I was half laying on my stomach and my hips were moving as if I was... What does half laying on your stomach mean?
Like, hips up in the air, I guess.
What?
Like,
No. It must just be like on your side, like side stomach.
Yeah, maybe. Or bum up.
I can't...
Face down. Oh, it's not...
What's your sort of...
Like Tom says, on your side, half your stomach's
a little
up.
bit. Oh, okay, right, okay.
And your bot's in the air. I guess.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah,
receiving. If she's about to say what she's which I think she's about to say.
And her hips were moving as if I was having sex. So yeah, she's like getting really penetrated, I suppose. I could feel her weight against me, but I knew I was the only one in the room. I didn't recall having erotic dreams. I drifted back to sleep, and that's all I remember.
Huh.
The next night, it happens again.
That sounds like a dream.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't masturbate before sleep this time. I wake up in the same position with the same movements of my hips with the weight on top of me. Again, there was no one else in the room and no erotic dreams. I drifted back to sleep and that was the end of it. We had the usual ghostly interactions over the next few months, but no more sexual activity. One day, I realised we hadn't had any interactions for a few months. And then 2 weeks ago, my daughter was woken by a man screaming in her room. That's pretty freaky, if you think. Then I was getting dressed to go out to a party. I heard a door open, a male voice say, "I'm back." We weren't expecting company, so I was half naked in my bathroom with the door wide open. I heard the voice and slammed my bathroom door, then asked who was there. My daughter, who was in the kitchen, said she hadn't heard anything. After that, the ghost interaction started up again. They've been very active, especially the animal. I felt it on my beds many nights, and my daughter has had her own experiences. Last night, the ghost animal was moving all over my bed. I knew it wasn't my cats as I could see or touch both of them. I drifted off to sleep after masturbating. I half woke up in the same position as the other 2 times. I could feel a weight against me and my hips were moving as if I were having sex. I drifted back to sleep and woke again with the same thing happening, then finally sleep for the rest of the night. I don't mind it and it isn't hurting me, so I really don't care if it continues. It's just a really weird feeling. It's been nice coming to the site and seeing others who've had similar stories. So it's not like she's really getting off to it. She's not saying...
Yeah. It's just like a little event. Well, like they say hips don't lie, so it must be true. Oh, fuck it.
It's a weird one, isn't it? I mean...
It is weird. Succubus. They're called succubus. Ghosts that have sex with people.
Are they?
Or succubus. Or incubus. I think one is for men and one's for women.
Okay. Because succubus is he calls... On Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? He calls someone a succubus.
Yeah,
I think
like
he calls his wife a succubus when he meets her up, and the guy comes in front of him and goes, "How now? No, you can't talk like that to my fiance." And he's like, "Well, you can't marry my wife." I love that film.
Succubus is a demon or supernatural entity.
Oh, so it's a strong old Cain.
Men.
So it's a strong old Cain calling her a succubus, isn't it?
Yeah, an enchantress.
Oh, there you go.
I was just thinking, right? We said that it's seemingly only women who have these sexual relationships with ghosts. Maybe it's just because men are the only ones who are still horny when they die, right? So when we die and go to the afterlife, a lot of women are probably like, I don't know, okay, not interested anymore.
Or they're getting it up in heaven or whatever.
Oh, they're getting it from some other ghosts.
Yeah, I guess mother ghosts. It's only these are like the fucking incel ghosts.
Yeah.
Who have to shag the living.
Yeah, they can't get any.
Because they can't get any from the other ghosts.
Can't get any ghost puss.
Yeah. This smells so weird, this. It's like it's like it's been washed. It's like it's been washed in polish. It smells mad. Make my head hurt.
Rob's talking about his costume, by the way, listeners.
My mask is
Oh my ghost.
really, it's straining my face. I'm getting a bit of a headache in my eyes, and my nose.
Didn't you get a headache last time from your costume?
Yeah,
Because it was like squashed around your head.
yeah, and my nose is really sweaty as well. It's really
I
hot.
feel great. I feel really like free.
Mine's very big. It is a bit. The woman in the shop
Talking
was
about
like,
your outfit.
the woman in the shop was like, are you? She said you could be the admiral from the Admiral Insurance, or the Go Compare guy. And then someone said the Go Compare guy. I was like, does the Go Compare guy wear an outfit like
No,
this?
he just wears a suit. Like he wears like a
yeah.
tux type thing.
Like
He's
a
like
tenor.
Yeah, that's
tennis
the shit.
suit.
I don't anything like the Go Compare guy. Then do I?
No,
No.
Okay.
no. I think the meerkats wear something that you're wearing in the advert.
Oh yeah.
Today?
Compare to meerkat.
It is Sergeant Pepper in it. I've just looked it up. Maybe that's what it's actually supposed to be.
Yeah, compare to meerkat. I mean, he changes his costume depending on what he's doing. I'm pretty sure I've seen him wear what you're wearing.
Out and about.
Yeah, but otherwise he
Just
just wears like a suit, I
sit.
think.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's some.
Apparently, repeated sex with a succubus is detrimental to mental and physical health and can lead to death. So,
no shit. Well,
my advice for this lady is to cease and desist.
well, I mean, is it that you're already showing signs of perhaps
Well, maybe.
on the first time?
Also, is this the first mention of a haunted caravan that we've ever had on the Curios Cast?
Yeah, I think it might be a very new haunted caravan. So,
Yeah,
I was thinking,
why
can't
would
they just like drive away, or maybe it's one of the static caravans?
No, it comes.
well, she doesn't
comes
seem
with
to
it.
mind it. She doesn't seem to mind it. She's not trying to get away from
Yeah,
it. This isn't one of she's like whatever.
she didn't really say
Yeah,
much
she's
else
in-
about the pet.
Yeah, the cat is just mooching around.
He's just about. He's obviously this guy. It's the ghost.
Maybe it's a
guy.
werewolf ghost, and that's when he's transformed into like a little cat werewolf. And then when he's out of the werewolf form in man form, that's when
a
he's
werecat.
Yeah.
werecat.
A werecat ghost.
Yeah, werecat ghost.
Oh,
All
man.
kinds of hybridity there going. Yeah. Hybridity.
Makes
That's a great
sense.
word.
Hybridity.
George, what spookiness have you brought to us?
Well, I didn't want to get mocked for bringing ghost stories again. So, and talking about ghosts because
This is the one
I feel
time.
like-
This is
that
the
that's
I know,
okay.
but I've not done it.
Okay.
I've not brought you any ghost stories because when I've tried to express my enthusiasm for ghosts and ghoulies, I get mocked. And no fucking listeners ever sent me any ghost stories. None, not one of you. I'm wearing a dress on camera. So if that doesn't deserve at least one ghost story from one of you. Yeah, it's my rant over this Halloween.
Rant. Fuck
it
is a
rant?
rant?
Rant.
Rant.
Rant. It's about you. That's worse than fucking sniff that. No, I'll say sniff that. It's worse than
Sneeze
sneeze
that.
that.
What, rant?
Yeah.
Ranted and
I've
raved.
never
Fuck is wrong with you?
heard anyone say
No
rant.
I've never ever heard anyone say
No.
that. It's not even like a common.
Yeah.
That's the first time anyone's ever said that wrong
Unbelievable. All
in
right,
the
let's have a
history of the
look.
world.
Rant.
Rant.
No, there's like,
It's definitely not that. Don't even
can't-
look it
There
up.
is zero people on your side here.
Yeah,
This is like-
don't even look it up.
Yeah,
No
I'm
one
going to
says
play it. Hang on.
No.
Rant.
Oh, yeah, I'm wrong.
Rant. That's mad.
You know what
how
rhymes
have you
with-
got to fucking 30 odd and still been saying rant?
You know what rhymes with rant? Can.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, there are words sometimes that you can pronounce either way. Like I say bath, but some people say bath, don't they?
yeah,
Rant.
like a northern thing, but that's just no one says
Rant.
rant.
Rant. Yeah, that's like if you was pretending to be posh, like over the top.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oh dear.
Well-
Stop ranting at me.
Anyway, chaps, let me get on with my non-ghostly stories. But yeah, anyway, listeners, I do want to hear some ghost stories. So if you have got any, all right, please let me know because I do find them genuinely interesting to read. So yeah, please. So one thing that I wanted to talk about, which is quite strange, I'm going to send you boys a link. There's a few photos on here that we'll put up on the screen. Have you ever heard of Victorian death photography?
I think so. Yeah.
It's just where they used to take photos of dead bodies, right?
Yeah, but they used to pose them with like family members. So if like a kid died, the mum and dad would be sitting there, maybe holding the kid, and they'd try and make it look alive still. And they'd have this photo, or it might be with its brothers or sisters or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is just an article on the BBC. It's quite good because it's got just quite a few different photos on it. But some of them are just like mental. Like the first one, there's 4 kids standing in a row, and then there's just this little girl at the end who's got her eyes closed, leaning back. Looks a bit weird, but she's dead. She's just been propped up on like some sticks to make it look like a family photo. Some of them are mental, like there's 2 below of one woman just with her eyes open, staring at the camera, just looking pretty horrific.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, these are pretty haunting.
Eyes would be
Pretty
painted
spooky.
onto the photograph after it was developed.
Yeah, so they'd paint the eyes on to try and make them look. I mean, the one on the right, they could have tried a bit better because she looks very dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a picture of a dead person.
Yeah. They've taken a few days to get the camera sorted and that, haven't they?
And obviously some of them are sad, they're little babies with the mum and the dad and stuff like that.
Twin
But
died.
yeah, it's just like quite a weird thing. So the Victorians were like big on life and death and the afterlife and that sort of stuff. And they're a way for families to overcome grief, because there was I don't know what the age expectancy was in Victorian times, but there was like a big
Infant
child mortality rate. So people were having big families, but like 8 out of the 9 kids might die. So there's a lot of dead kids, obviously.
Yeah, it says in the little subheading under the first photo, it says it was common for families to have lots of children and also common for them to die before their 5th birthday.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. So some they were obviously embalmed, and then before being buried, they'd take these photos with their loved ones, and they'd wear locks of hair and sometimes even fingernails and things like that in lockets. There's things that you can wear around your neck and all that sort of stuff.
That's like normal, I think.
I can get like locks of hair and stuff. Doesn't the hair like decay though? Like if you have it in a locket,
no,
doesn't it like?
'Cause it's already dead.
But doesn't it like?
But
disintegrate?
it's organic. It doesn't last forever. Surely.
Fade away, wouldn't
I
it?
think
Surely.
so. Maybe if it's exposed to air, but I think if you keep it locked away from air.
Yeah.
Only reason I know is because my brother, when we were kids, used to have like really long, blonde, curly hair, and it was just like, he's just one of those kids that has long hair, and my mum used to love it. That was him. But my nan, who was my dad's mum, used to hate it, and we stayed at my nan and granddad's for a week in the summer holidays, and my nan just decided to cut his hair. And my mum was fuming, obviously. Like, she come to pick us up after a week, and my brother's hair, it wasn't like crazy short, but it was a lot shorter. And she was fuming. And my nan was like, "Oh, don't worry though, I've kept the hair for you in a bag." And she'd put it in like a little sandwich bag for her. And my mum's obviously like, "What am I going to do with this? I can't stick it back on." She's like, "Oh, but if you want to keep it to remember what it was like with long hair." And it was just, I don't know. But she did genuinely like, I think she got home and like in the moment she was like sad about losing the hair, so she like did put it in like, I think she had like a photo album of maybe like me and my brother and stuff, put it in there, and years later it's just still there. There's still his hair there, and that was
It's
maybe
still there now.
15 years ago.
I'm saying that there's a big piece of my umbilical cord in like some pouch in a box in my parents' house somewhere.
Yeah, I think my
That's pretty
umbilical
mad.
cord somewhere. It's all rotted. It's like, it's just like a
Really?
black little
it's like a bit of rock.
Yeah,
That's grim.
yeah.
Your parents
Weird,
are fucked.
So maybe
I
that's
had,
what was sitting on the bath all that time ago. It wasn't a little poo. It was my
umbilical cord, yeah.
I almost said foreskin then. It was my umbilical cord.
Have you got that knocking about as well?
No, that went years ago.
When
That blew off.
when I first cut my dreads off, when I first cut them short, rather, not off, obviously, because they're still there. When I first cut them short, I kept them. I decided to keep them in like a bag in my boot. And I had them in a bag in my boot for ages, driving about in my car with them for some reason. I don't know why. And then I like gave one to one of my friends. She just wanted one. I wonder if she might still have it. It was this one that looked like a hockey stick. It was mental. It was massive and had like a fucking like, Lawford will probably remember it.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
When was that? When did you cut them short?
I've done it a few times now. I first did it, I couldn't tell you, 2016 maybe. Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, hair does survive.
Well, it keeps growing when you die, doesn't it? Like, if you dig up a dead person,
don't they, with long hair still?
the hair and your nails keep growing after you die for a little while.
Yeah, I don't think for long. I think it's basically the bit that was already growing underneath just kind of gets pushed out.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, that's Victorian death photography. It's very similar to another thing I find really interesting but weird is like saints in like cathedrals and stuff, like bodies of saints. Have you ever seen them?
Oh yeah, when they keep like relics.
Yeah, and they're like incorruptible, so they call them incorruptible saints, and it's basically like the body of a nun or a priest or something that has been found to be incorruptible after it's been buried. So that means that it's not decayed. So they open it back up and the body's just like in perfect condition. And then
that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, some they say like perfect condition, but some of them are like fucked. It's just a skeleton, and they've just put a wax face over it now, and it's still incorruptible. They still say it's as it is. But some bodies legit look like they've just been dead like 2 days, and it's been 800 years or something crazy.
That's just where they're like embalmed really well.
Are they like mummified?
Right?
Or
yeah, mummified, like the air conditioned. There was like one in underneath Rome, I think. There's loads of like chalk tunnels where they used to dig out chalk and stuff, and then it started getting used by Christians in Rome before Christianity was like big to bury their bodies and stuff under, so they didn't get persecuted. And there's these bodies down there that are just in perfect condition because the air conditions have kept them the same.
It's mad.
Yeah, it's always weird in like a cathedral where you see a hand, like someone's hands just in a box. Like when we was in Italy in the summer, we went into a few, and there's like bits of shin bone or like someone's ear or like a finger just like hanging out at the front of this, or like a body just on display.
Gross.
Pretty spooky. Spooky.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I don't spend a lot of time in cathedrals, I guess. I've never seen that. Or I just don't look out for it when I do visit.
Yeah, well, relics is a thing, isn't it? So they go a bit far with the like fucking. I've never really heard of it, like being like body parts and shit. But I know they have like they might say like they've got a bit of fucking St Barnabas's cloak here.
Oh there's a bit of the stable.
A lot of churches say they've got like one of the nails that Jesus was crucified in.
Yeah, well, there is
fucking.
How many nails?
There must have been about it must have been about 500 nails. He was fucked by the.
There is a whole thing apparently where people say there's like a whole argument of people saying that they had Christ's foreskin because they say when he was circumcised as a baby because he was Jewish that his foreskin was kept. And when he went up to heaven, there's a debate as to whether or not his foreskin would have come
up after.
Some people say that it would have done. There's some members of the church that say it would have done, and there's others. But obviously, there's these people, these churches that claim they have Christ's foreskin. It's like the ultimate fucking relic. And there's like 3 or 4 or something. Blind Boy does a really good. Again, another podcast needs a shout out. Shout out to Blind Boy. He does a really good thing on Christ's foreskin. Check that out.
Christ's foreskin's a good name for a band.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, like a fucking black metal band. Probably exists.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I haven't got anything further to add on Christ's foreskin or relics.
That's cool because I want to talk about pumpkins.
Okay.
I didn't.
I was going to say actually. I think very luckily I avoided bringing a story that it may have been the same story that you're about to say. If not, I can join you in a pumpkin story.
I mean, I actually found a couple different pumpkin stories. I was just trying to find things to do with Halloween, right? And zombies and vampires and Frankenstein and stuff. Like we've covered all those bases, I think.
Ghosts shagging women, yeah. I kind of went over trodden ground there, didn't I?
Boring.
Oh no. Okay.
What?
But I had all of them saved in my iCloud notes, and then literally just now it popped up with a message saying, due to maintenance, notes will not be available for the next hour.
Oh, no.
So I need to try and remember what I was going to talk about. So actually, I've got the tabs open on my phone. So yeah, I just searched for pumpkin stories, and I found one that I'm pretty sure we might have mentioned on last year's episode. It was about a man who got caught having sex with a pumpkin in a forest in Suffolk.
I don't think. Did we speak about that?
I don't remember speaking about that, but it sounds exactly like something we would have.
I remember. I remember definitely finding this story last year, but I didn't. I couldn't remember if we spoke about it or not. Like, the Halloween episode was a long episode, as we know. It was our longest one.
Until recently.
Until recently, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, police catch humping pumpkin man in the act. A Suffolk man romping with a pumpkin in a field has a bizarre excuse when he was caught by police, a court heard. Ralph Bishop, 53.
I like the way there could be any excuse that isn't bizarre. You know, like, I was just fucking a pumpkin normally. And all right, yeah, fair enough. Reasonable excuse.
Well,
was the pumpkin half on its stomach?
He was found with his trousers down, committing a lewd act with the large squash plant. But officers were stunned by his reply when they shouted at him to stop. Blah, blah, blah.
Did he start ranting?
He didn't start ranting, no. The officers shone a torch into a field and yelled at Bishop, demanding to know why he was ravishing a pumpkin. He stopped, looked up at the police, then looked down at the pumpkin and exclaimed, "Crikey, is it midnight already?"
What? So he thought he was fucking a carriage?
Yeah, I don't know.
like because the pumpkin it was a carriage.
Yeah, if they're talking about Cinderella.
So he's like,
crikey.
Yeah. The officers did not fall for his fairy tale story and arrested him for public indecency and for being drunk and disorderly.
If there was no one else around, though, how's he being drunk and disorderly? Like, if it's just him in a field in the middle of nowhere in Suffolk.
Yeah.
Don't know. Maybe the farmer.
And it wasn't me. I'm not trying to make excuses for him. All right. But, yeah. Let him do his thing. He wasn't like he was, fucking a horse.
No. He was fined £100 and ordered to pay £10 compensation to the potato farmer, Maurice Piper, who had set aside a field for a pumpkin patch.
Piper potatoes.
Yeah.
Is that the Mr. Piper?
Yeah, maybe.
Piping a pumpkin. He was piping that pumpkin.
I like the way, like, what's the tenor covering? It like that one pumpkin
I guess
that
so,
he could have sold.
Maybe he ruined a little patch, I don't know.
About 3 or 4, yeah.
But yeah, the pumpkin humper.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the vicinity,
it depends how much semen he produced.
Exactly. It could be 9 or 10 pumps.
Yeah, if he's a zinc and sunflower lecithin man, then he could have ruined quite a few.
Yeah.
Blasting holes in the side of pumpkins.
Yeah.
Do you think he carved the face into it? And carved the mouth?
No, I think he carved something else into it.
Yeah, just the one little hole.
Yeah, but you might have just wanted to picture it more, so you might have done eyes and a mouth, and then like give it hair. I don't know.
Maybe. I was reading about the history of pumpkins as well. Do you know why we have pumpkins on Halloween and where it comes from and everything?
It's to do with it's jack-o'-lantern, isn't it? And it's meant to be like that's where I run out of this thing.
Yeah, so I mean the reason why I guess basically they just grow and they naturally kind of harvest at this time of year, which is why it's a happy coincidence. But the tradition of carving a face into a jack-o'-lantern actually comes from like traditional Irish traditions.
And it was
like Celtic
turnips, wasn't it?
Origin, yeah, and it used to be a turnip because there was a story about a man called Jack who I guess was like I don't know anything about Jack really, but he got... Basically, he died and he got rejected from heaven and from hell. So he was like, I guess, still living on earth, like his spirit or something like that.
In purgatory.
Yeah. It didn't say that when I was reading. I thought that and I was like, but is purgatory still on earth? But yeah, anyway,
Perhaps we are perpetually in purgatory. awaiting our beautiful afterlife.
Whoa.
Ooh.
But yeah, wait. Let me see. 'Cause I have it here. Yeah, he was a blacksmith who had tricked the devil on several occasions. Jack died denied from heaven and hell. When the devil turned him away, he gave Jack a burning ember. Jack hollowed out a turnip to carry the ember, which gave him light. The Irish remember this story each year by carving scary faces on turnips and placing a piece of coal inside. And then it was when the Irish emigrated to America, they realised that pumpkins were just better. Like, they just grew easier, grew bigger, and that was it.
Wasn't it like, he tricked the devil? I remember reading the story now, and he tricked the devil in like multiple ways. Of like, when he came to like, I think he did a deal with the devil for his soul, and then when he came to like collect his soul, he'd like trick him out of it a few times or
don't
something.
Do that.
Yeah.
And it did say in there as well, I was reading that when I guess Europeans and the Spanish went to America, they found these pumpkins, and the Native Americans would, grow them and eat. That was one of their sort of staple foods, was the pumpkin. It grew so easily, and they tried to bring it back to Europe, but it just didn't grow well over here. So we could have had them much sooner, but didn't make it.
So they do now though. So they're not native, the old pumpkin.
No, they're native to America.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
There's a good ditty about pumpkins on the Jack-o'-lantern Wikipedia page.
Go on, ditty us.
Go on in.
It says, "Oh, fruit loved of boyhood, the old days recalling, when wood grapes were purpling and brown nuts were falling. When wild ugly faces we carve in its skin, glaring out through the dark with a candle within." Good, isn't it?
Nah.
Nice.
I hate them kind of
Boring
things.
back in 1850, wasn't it? Yeah, that's the sort of song you come up with.
That could have been the ending of the episode. You could have I felt like it should have been, and I'd have put the old, we could have put the organ back on.
Well, I'll do it in a scary voice at the end of the episode.
Yeah. All right.
I'll do it in a horrific voice.
Okay. I look forward to that already. I'm sure the listeners are as well. Buzzing. Some of them have just skipped forwards.
They will, and then they'll skip back.
Yeah.
What do you guys
think?
They'll
not send me a ghost story. Fuck.
What do you guys think of pumpkins?
I like them.
I rate them. I actually made a spiced pumpkin soup the other day. For starters, we had Gina's parents round for a 3-course meal. So I made spiced pumpkin soup. The previous day, I made a pumpkin chili with some of the pumpkin. And then I used the rest of it in a spiced pumpkin soup. And I intend to make another one. Gina's hosting an event, and she's promised them all spiced pumpkin soup, because it's like an autumnal thing. Yeah. So I've got to bang out like 20 loads of that. So that's my job.
The only problem I find with pumpkin is, you've just illustrated the point, is that there's often a lot of it. So you find yourself trying to make a lot of stuff of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fuckery involved to get the pumpkin out as well. And it's horrible, really. It's very messy. And then getting the skin off is a right cunt. You have to I went for roasting them and then scooping it off the skin. Because you can't peel that skin. That ain't happening.
No.
I sometimes will peel a butternut squash skin. That's hard work, and you sort of end up smashing your knuckle all the time. But you can do it. Whereas a pumpkin, that is a right slag.
Do you remember? It was like a few years ago when pumpkin spiced this and that was like, I guess, sweeping nations. And I guess it was kind of like a meme, like it was like a white girl autumn like kind of thing. Because it was always the pumpkin spice latte, which was like the classic. As soon as that comes back in Starbucks, everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, well, a friend from work said he had one the other day, and I was like, "Did you post about it on social media?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Well, you didn't have one then?"
Yeah. When I was looking up
the same thing.
When I was looking up pumpkin stories, I found an article that I think it was like 6 or 7 years old, that referred to it as like an epidemic of spiced pumpkin spice, and I found lots of other things that had been put in. So it started off with like coffee, and then sort of desserts and stuff. So it'd be like like waffles and ice cream and stuff. You could get like pumpkin spice flavors of it. There was pumpkin spice spam you could get.
Jesus.
There was I saw protein powder, pumpkin spice protein powder.
I've never actually had a pumpkin spice latte. Does it actually taste like pumpkin?
Don't know.
Or was it just like classic
No idea.
syrup?
I've never had one. I'm not a can.
And then there was there was an article about.
I am a can.
It was obviously just like a marketing thing, but it was Durex are not commenting on whether they are planning to release pumpkin spice flavored condoms and shit like that.
What are flavoured condoms for in general anyway? Have we spoken this before? Like, is it only for
Having a little taste
sex workers, really?
Yeah, it must be, because no one sucks someone off with a condom on, right?
No, surely not. Is that a scenario
that'd be depressing.
occurs?
I'd rather just go put the bins out or something. Like, and you're not. I think you're not supposed to actually have like vaginal intercourse with them, because can't they like have like give you like a yeast infection or something with like the flavouring?
Oh, what, a reaction of some kind?
It must be safe to use. Surely they wouldn't. Well, that's what sounds weird. Like wearing a condom. But there was a guy that I used to know who, when he went to university, he came back and he was like all excited because he'd busted his nut. He'd finally managed it, and he used a dental dam.
Oh yeah, I remember learning about that.
A what?
It's like just a piece of
cling film.
I don't even know what is it, like cling film sort of stuff, over his mouth when he did the deed. But I still to this day can't imagine
he like whipped that out. He said like he put that one in his pocket and said, "I'm getting this out now."
Yeah, whipped it out, and then went to town.
Yeah,
far out. What did?
Yeah, I remember learning about it at school. So it's like if you're really try not to get STIs and stuff, which is sensible.
Probably sensible.
When a woman sucks off a man,
it's supposed to
put a condom on. When you go down on a woman, you're supposed to pull out the dental dam, which is.
Well, he took it very seriously,
and he actually did. He whipped it out.
Yeah, I guess like an envelope kind of sized piece of cling film or whatever. You stick it over and
It's like, have you ever seen those things that you can give people mouth to mouth without actually touching their mouth?
Yeah.
It's like that basically. So you just put it over.
Paramedics probably use them, but
not for that. They don't do that whilst they're attending.
Maybe they do. They're probably more like switched on to venereal disease than your average. More likely to.
But
really
sexy. It's always just baffled me.
Fair play to him, mate. Yeah. Safe sex hype. Like if you respect.
Big up.
Yeah. I found this other story about a man who paddled 26 miles inside a pumpkin. So
into it.
What? Well, like a really big pumpkin. He used it as like a raft.
Yeah, huge pumpkin.
That's sick. I'm pretty sure there's like wasn't it on like Takeshi's Castle or something? There was like one of the rounds is they get inside a big old, it's like a pumpkin or maybe it was a mushroom or something. They get inside a big old, and they had to go down a slide in it.
Yeah, it was like a big bowl
and stay
type
upright.
Thing, yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. I forgot, sorry.
It was in, I don't know if the guy's name is Oslo or it was in Oslo. Oh, it was in Oslo. But I don't know what the guy's name was.
Cool, that is a fucking pumpkin.
Oh, Oslo, Minnesota. Okay, not Oslo, Norway. Mine's not loading properly, so I just have to go off memory.
I have to turn off ad blocker for mine.
Oh, I can do it here.
It's massive. How did they manage to get it flat like that? Do you reckon they made it grow flat for this purpose?
That's mad, or just because of the weight when he gets that big, maybe it just does.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it might have been, hollowed out, and
I don't know. It looks like it's there's a picture of him on it, and it doesn't look hollowed out. It's still as is.
Oh yeah, he's just sitting on it. Oh, that's crazy. It doesn't sink. I guess they just float. They've got a lot of air anyway. Rick Swenson set sail from Grand Forks early Saturday morning trying to break what he thought was an 8-mile world record for longest distance floated in a pumpkin. We got about 7.5 miles in, thinking that he only had to go 8, so he only had half a mile left. And then he got a text that somebody had broken it at 15 weeks ago. Obviously, he was demoralised. He planned to float further than 8 miles, so he just carried on going until he got 26 miles down the river
That's
to
fucking
Oslo,
long way.
Minnesota. It took him 13 hours and 40 minutes.
That's mad.
He broke the record by over 10 miles. He did say towards the end it did get boring. He said it was getting boring towards the end, especially when we got towards Oslo. It kind of slowed down and there was no wind. I mean, it was beautiful, but you knew what you were getting towards at the end. I didn't want to stop, and it was starting to get really boring, he said. And then someone said, would you ever do it again? And he said, I have no intentions of doing it again. Once is good enough. So fair enough. Yeah. He sailed 26 miles on a pumpkin.
These pumpkins going on display. Then it'll be fed to the animals. Fair enough.
So I didn't have the same pumpkin story as you, Tom.
No.
So I've just put it in there now. Heaviest pumpkin in US disqualified for fingernail-sized crack.
Oh.
So Wisconsin man
Classic.
grew the heaviest pumpkin in the country this fall, weighing in at 2,520 pounds. However, it's not going in any record books because it's disqualified. Yeah, 2,520 pounds.
That is a cunt-off pumpkin, isn't it?
It says he says pumpkins are like ice cream. Everyone loves them. Some people say we're crazy, but we're just people who like to have a little bit of fun out in the dirt. But unfortunately, from internal pressures and the awkward way it was growing, it cracked.
It doesn't count because of the crack.
Yeah, it says this pumpkin would have won this year, and so you're looking at a pumpkin that would have been worth $20,000. The crack disqualifies him from all competitions this year. Schmidt says the crack was the size of a fingernail. It happens. There's no crying in pumpkin growing.
That's what they say. I did know that. I did know that, actually. I already knew that. Yeah.
The Safeway World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off in California pays $9 a pound to the winning gourd grower. That means in this case, Schmidt would have won a pretty penny if not for the fingernail size crack.
That is some serious money, isn't it? 20 grand for... I don't know how much it costs you to grow such a pumpkin. You must have to put quite a lot of fertiliser and shit in it and quite a lot of time and effort.
They never showed a crack in this video.
Yeah, strange.
No, they don't, do they? That'd be sort of the point of the video. I get you've grown a big pumpkin.
Yeah, they're showing him standing on the pumpkin. That's probably not good for cracks and stuff. Standing on top of it, sitting on it. He's treating it like a recliner.
When we used to have our allotment, every year there'd be guys down there trying to grow the biggest pumpkin, and they were growing some big pumpkins. They were covered up with tarpaulin and stuff, and you have to keep it out of the sun to stop it from ripening, I think, for as long as possible, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But yeah, some of those were massive, but yeah, nothing compared to this one.
I thought it was like a reclining chair as well.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Like a very comfortable one.
You guys ever been dragged along to one of them fucking pumpkin patches?
No,
I've never done that, actually.
I've seen a lot of posts on Instagram this week.
Yeah, I imagine my niece might enjoy that sort of thing, so I might get involved with her.
You have to hurry up, all the pumpkins might be gone.
I know, well, I need to get some, because I need to make this pumpkin soup, and every cunt's going to get them and be throwing it all away, isn't they, to make jack-o'-lantern things. I realise that. I'm going to buy them fucking soon. They're all going to be gone.
Well, last year we had the allotment. I grew loads of butternut squash, and we put it all in a box in our shed because you can just store it wherever. So I thought, well, brilliant. We've got that for the winter, like butternut squash over winter. Just go down at least have some stuff. Fucking rats ate all of them.
Oh,
they gnawed through the skin. I guess it wasn't like a rat-proof butternut squash, and opened the box, and it was just all full of rat shit and old bits of. Yeah.
Well, they had a good time.
They had a good feed.
You
yeah.
fed some rats.
Little cunts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never bothered to put decorations up for fucking anything. No matter what, even if it was like, I don't know, the manliest holiday, like Man Day. Like I'm not putting up decorations.
The Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm just not interested in putting up decorations
final.
At all.
The World Cup final, you might see a bloke putting up an England flag.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, it's not just for the final. That's like the month before. There you go.
That's true. I've been corrected.
Yeah. But that's quite low effort, really, isn't it? One flag up.
You see that? Yeah. There was a house in Basildon. Was it Basildon or Grays? Somewhere local. It was on the BBC It was just covered in flags. Like, it was just like the whole front of the house was just covered in flags.
Of course it was.
That's funny. At that point, it's like, I feel like at that point they're doing it for a laugh.
Bowing our boys over there, We're going to do us proud, bring it home.
Yeah, at that point, I feel
So
like
I thought I'd show me pride by putting all the fucking flags all over me fucking ass.
at that point it is irony. Like I feel like they know what they're doing.
No, they fucking mean it. They really mean it probably as well.
Love it.
I put a little box out the front, collecting money for
donations for
charity,
for little kiddies. For little kiddies who ain't got a TV to watch the boys bring it home.
People do that, put boxes out.
Yeah, they were collecting donations.
Well, you often see it with like if people have like mad Christmas lights.
I've seen it with Christmas
they
lights.
They might have a little thing out and say decorations. Yeah. I could just maybe not for the flag.
Seen it.
Yeah, they were. They were for the one in Grays or Basildon. They were collecting money.
Were they? There you go.
Yeah, they were saying, we've got all the flags up, so obviously our electricity bill's gone up, so we want to cover the costs.
Well, they were just covered. They weren't even
I'm joking. But they were collecting money for a charity.
Oh, yeah, of course. But a geezer charity, innit? Yeah.
For the kiddies, all
kiddies.
our homeless.
For
our homeless.
Our homeless vets.
For our homeless vets, give them the money and that.
All these people that care for animals that are homeless. That's what they mean, isn't it? I think it must be.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
All right. Go on. I think you should read us out, George.
Oh, yeah.
I've never actually carved a pumpkin.
Well, I did last year, didn't I?
Was it good? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They were on display.
Yeah.
Check back in last year to see our pumpkin carving efforts. It was mine and Gina's, and see if you can tell which one was mine and which was Gina's.
Episode 13, if anyone wants to go back and watch that.
Are you gonna play us out as well, Rob?
Oh, fruit loved of boyhood, the old days recalling, when wood grapes were purpling and brown nuts were falling, when wild ugly faces we carved in its skin, glaring out through the dark with a candle